Hello, soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to chat with you today about disassociation, or sometimes even known as just numbing out, not being able to feel our feelings. And it's very, very common if you are dealing with the dark night of the soul, or depression or anxiety of any kind. If you have been in a situation where you've endured long term stress, abuse, narcissistic relationships, things of that nature, it's common. The brain is designed to keep you safe. And when we feel like we can't escape the problem, it seems that we've tried everything and there's just no way out, then the brain will take us to a place of not feeling because it's truly the only way to solve the problem. So, disassociation, numbing, not being able to feel your feelings is very, very common, especially if you've experienced the dark night of the soul. So, disassociation, by definition, is a disconnection between a person's memories, feelings, behaviors, perceptions, or sense of self. Oftentimes, it can come along with memory loss, especially certain periods of time that were more painful than others. You may forget details of events or people, or even your own personal information. There can be a sense of being detached from yourself and from your emotions. I know when I was in it, I felt like I was just always in my head. And I didn't have any other way to explain it other than I just couldn't escape all of the thoughts that were swirling around in my head. And you feel detached from the world. You feel disconnected, or as if you're watching a movie from the outside. And as part of the definition, it is also including a perception of people and things around you that is distorted or unreal. And so while we're sort of in that place of feeling like I'm watching a movie, I don't really feel what they feel. I can't enjoy life the way they enjoy life. I can't participate in life. That is a distortion. And that actually can bring us some comfort that we just need to shift back into a more accurate perception. And that's going to be part of the way out. Being disconnected from you and the world is kind of like living in the prison of your body and your mind, where you don't get to do the things you were meant to do, to enjoy life the way other people enjoy life. And the problem is that comes from long-term low levels of stress, or even high levels of stress for short periods of time. It puts strain on your nervous system to the extent that it can't handle it anymore. That I don't see any way out, that I've tried everything to fix this problem and I can't make the pain stop. I personally first experienced it as a child, when I felt that I was not seen or heard, or that my emotions didn't matter, that when I asked for friends or extracurricular activities, that was denied, and it just kind of felt like a loss of myself, that everything I needed was being rejected, and I was told that I had to stuff that down. I was not able to mourn the fact that I didn't have friends my age, or I didn't go to a normal school and have, people to choose from for friends, that, a school of 12 kids and maybe I was lucky if one was my age. I wanted that gymnastics class. I wanted that dance class so bad. I was meant to be a dancer. I have it in me still. But I couldn't have that. That was selfish and that was wrong. We were supposed to give that money to the church. I was a bad person for wanting those things. How dare I try to take money from God's church? I smile now, but that hurts. And I had to live in that environment. I couldn't escape it. There was no way to meet my own needs. And so when we feel this long, sustained, overwhelming sense of, I can't meet my needs, I can't, it's almost like I need oxygen to breathe and they're telling me I can't have oxygen. You suffocate. So what are you going to do? Just going to learn to stop breathing. You're going to learn to stop feeling. And along with that, the sense of sort of being in a fog, that you may not even hear people. It's almost like you're just not there. That you may ask people to repeat things frequently, or you just kind of feel very distant. Again, you kind of feel like you're on the outside of a bubble looking in. You can't quite hear the voices. They might sound faint. You might lose track of time. Can't remember a previous event with this particular person, or maybe, if you're in school, you can't remember what they taught in the last class, or if you're at work, you can't remember what happened in that last meeting. It's difficult to tell what's real and what's not. And I think probably the strongest feeling that I experienced was just a feeling of emptiness. It's just nothingness. And yet also a sense of racing thoughts, trying to figure it out. How do I fix the problem? How do I fix the problem? What did I do in the past to create this so I can prevent it from happening in the future? Sometimes if there was sort of a trigger or something that would amplify the feeling, no, you can't have that dance class. It was triggering, and it would actually even make me dizzy. And I would pull away even more and disconnect even more and isolate even more, numb even more. And again, I'm speaking to this because it is a very prevalent symptom of the dark night of the soul, as well as healing and healing trauma. And in the clients that I work with, I see it often. Most often it comes in sort of a distraction. I don't really want to go there. I don't really want to look at that problem. I'd rather talk about how awesome and amazing things are going. Look at all the stuff I'm accomplishing, which is great. And if that's the truth, that we don't need to heal this, if it doesn't come up, there's no intensity behind it. You're not triggering anymore. You're able to sort of be triggered and move through it very, very quickly, then you are healed. But if it's still triggering for you, if you still feel that amplified response to something that reminds you of it or is similar to it, then there is healing to do. And we need to look at it. We can't ignore it, distract from it. So much energy goes into the avoidance of. Oftentimes in my sessions as well, I get a sense of the client, they don't want to feel like they're failing. Of course, fear of failure is a big part of complex trauma, and the numbing out or the disassociation from anything that might make me feel like I am not enough, I'm not doing it right. That is something that will cause more dissociation. It will cause, I often, people can't hear. I make videos, I have a very nice microphone, but the lack of hearing, or the brain, it's happening at a biological level. The brain is shutting out those voices that are asking you to go to that place, to look at the trauma, to look at what hurt you, to remember how it felt. And of course, we know we have to feel it to heal it. And so in my work with brain spotting and healing trauma, we have to go in and we have to look at that. And we work with the body and we access the point of the brain that houses that trauma. And that can really bring up some very strong emotions of pain, sorrow, anger, regret, hurt. And so those very things that we think we don't want to look at, the very things that cause the numbing, as long as you're out of it, right? It initially starts while you're in this situation that you can't resolve. I was a teenager and I could not find a way to escape. I had a physically abusive stepfather. I was completely unseen, unheard. Years, by that point, 14, 15, 16 years of my needs being rejected, my feelings being denied, trying to survive, basically needing oxygen and not being able to breathe. And it finally came to a breaking point where I moved out at 16 years old. You know, that moment when my stepfather hit me and my mother said, "Don't you dare tell anyone." And I said, "If we don't tell somebody, I'm leaving." And she said, "Go for it. You'll never survive." She walked out of my room. And that moment, I remember so clearly, I shut down completely, 110%. And I said, "Yeah, F you, watch me." And I crawled out my bedroom window. And I've found part of the reason I'm doing this video is disassociation is coming up for my clients. And what's very interesting is, of course, we're always mirroring each other. So that is an indication that there is something in me that's doing it as well. And I make a lot of videos for you guys. And I get really excited and we discover lots of new fun things. But I don't really like to tell my story. And even in this moment, even just that explanation right there, I did it. Where I was going down the path of how much pain I felt in that moment. Where somebody who was supposed to protect me didn't. And I walked miles from my house to town to stay with a friend. And I didn't go back for years. I stayed with friends, eventually got an apartment. My mom never came looking for me. In fact, one time she was driving by and didn't even stop, didn't wave, didn't say hello. So the unwillingness to look at that will keep that pain inside us. And so what I need to look at there is people aren't there for me. The people I love will let me down. And so that becomes a core belief that becomes ingrained in the subconscious and the limbic brain. The trauma is housed in the body and it will come up. It'll make it difficult for me to trust a collaborator in business or a partner in relationship. And so I work through this. I have a therapist. I have a coach. We do this often. And you see, even after looking at it regularly, it still has a sting to it. And as long as it has a sting to it, there's a need to keep revisiting it. And as we revisit it and we talk through with the inner child, you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be seen. I'm going to do that for you now. It's not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to abandon you anymore. Another example would be a narcissistic relationship that I had. You can see the body's like, oh, we got to go there again. Okay, let's do it, right? I saw in that man my father. My father's also a narcissist. He seemed powerful and strong and confident and, I like the broad shoulders. I like the masculine. What I didn't know is I was attracted to the wound so that I could heal it. But I tried everything to get him to meet my needs. And at first he did. He was everything I ever wanted. And then he wanted to live together. And something magically happened when we started living together, where he wasn't affectionate anymore. He wasn't loving anymore. He was very critical. It actually was even to a point where we would have friends over, and all of a sudden he would become that person he was again. It was like it was a show. Put his arm around me, give me a hug and kiss. And in those moments, I just had that. It was like an addiction to a drug. And there is a psychological phenomenon that happens where we are flooded with those happy hormones that actually keep us addicted to this negative relationship, because we then go into starvation mode when they pull that back again. And I remember saying to a friend, after having a couple of drinks, because I didn't know what was going on and I was trying to just deal with the pain, and I explained to her, like, he's not that way when you're not here, and I don't understand why he won't treat me that way all the time. And I remember walking past him in a hallway one time where he actually turned so that he wouldn't make any physical contact as he walked by. And it was like it was a punishment. That he knew that if he could withhold from me this thing that I needed so much, that he would remain in control. He didn't like it that I graduated college. He was actually very resentful at my graduation party. And I remember having those moments of, even animals need physical touch, right? Where I was questioning what I needed, so much so I doubted that I needed physical contact, that there was something wrong with me for needing that physical contact, that I had to use an analogy of animals and how animals will die without physical contact, just to remind myself that I deserved that thing that I needed, that I deserved a partner who was happy for me for graduating. And I didn't see at the time that that was his own projection, that he didn't finish college, and that was a wound for him that he felt bad about. But again, I went into numbing, the point of the story. I used alcohol, I used coping mechanisms, I used anything I could to make it feel better. I disassociated. I completely, again, was in my head wondering, how do I get out of this trap of pain and yet numbness and yet the racing thoughts of, like, how do I fix this? How did I get here? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? How do I fix it? And so I like to make polished videos. I like to be organized, but I am sharing this with you because I hope that this helps you see that if you are in a place of not being able to feel, that if you are in a place where you feel you're numb or you're checked out, it may actually look opposite too. It may actually look like, I'm always really busy, I'm always having fun, I'm always moving from thing to thing to thing, because I had that too. Constantly just, what's the next thing I gotta do? What's the next thing I gotta do? What's the next thing I gotta do? Not being able to sit in stillness, not being able to sit still at all. The mind races from one thing to the next, hyper scrolling on your phone, your computer, whatever social media distraction keeps you outside of your body, away from feeling what it is that you need to feel to heal. So if you are struggling with the dark night of the soul or disassociation of any kind, numbing pain, not sure where to go or how to fix it, I would encourage you to look at the source of the pain. So for me, it was being in a home that didn't honor my needs. And so leaving actually was a really good thing. Being in that narcissistic relationship made me believe that my needs didn't deserve to be met. And leaving that relationship was the right thing. So if you question, you feel trapped, you feel like you're in this situation, it might even be a 3D job. I will also say that that partially caused a lot of similar things for me. I hated the job. It was not fulfilling. People were after each other all the time. I wanted to get out. And I told myself in all of those situations, I can't, right? Of course, at 14, you really can't, but 16, I kind of could. The narcissistic relationship, I told myself I didn't want to leave because I didn't believe that there was something better for me. Again, these are beliefs, and this is what I'm asking you to kind of catch, is if you're in a situation, if you're in the dark night of the soul, or you're dealing with disassociation, you're dealing with not being able to feel, ask yourself, what do you think, what is the original pain that you are trying to avoid? What caused you to come to this place? What needs do you need that are not being met? Your soul is sick. There is a soul sickness and a yearning inside of you. I need to be loved. I need to love on people. I need to be happy and bubbly all the time. I need to be in a job that allows me to contribute and to love on you and to help you and to hold your hand and to tell you you deserve this. Right? And without those needs being met, my soul is sick. You deserve whatever you need. You deserve to be happy. Not only do you deserve to be happy because you exist, simply because you breathe, because you are alive, because you are here, because you're not an accident. Your joy and your happiness is actually your compass towards your purpose. That you are made with intention. You are valuable. You are needed by the collective in your highest state. We need you to be happy. We need you to have your needs met. So just know that whatever belief you have around, I can't be happy, I can't have my needs met, I can't leave this relationship, I can't leave this job, I can't face those things, those pains, those traumas that make me feel unworthy. The glass ceiling. It literally is a glass ceiling that will keep you down. It'll make you play small. It will prevent you from shining and stepping into your purpose until we're ready to turn and face it and say, I see you. I see you as the root cause. And I'm going to pull you like a friggin' weed. I know this is a long one. I'm letting it flow. I love you guys. I'm here for you. You can do this. There is a gift in all of it. In fact, the craziest part about all of this is as I continue with this work is the more people that I meet, the more I realize the greater the struggle, the greater the purpose. That the more difficult the trauma, the more sensitive you are, the more empathic you are, the greater ability you have to tap in and draw in that guidance, to pull down the massive amounts of powerful energy that created heaven and earth through you, through your crystalline body, and out to the collective whole. You are important. You are powerful beyond measure. You have no clue. And as soon as you step into your authority and you say, I deserve this, simply because I breathe, I am here for a reason, I deserve to have my needs met. I must have my needs met in order to fulfill my purpose. I must claim my authority in order to make a difference in the world. I will feel again. I will face this pain, this trauma, the blockage that prevents the flow. Pluck it like a weed, baby. Leave a big, giant, gaping hole where it was, because it will be filled with love and everything that is meant for you. Too much energy goes into the avoidance. It's kind of like an elephant in a 4x4 room. You've somehow got to maneuver and manage and figure out how you're going to move through life without ever touching or looking at the elephant. That's a lot of energy. It's kind of like having shards of glass in your body and trying to move through life without agitating the shards of glass. You can't do it. And all of your energy will go towards avoiding that pain and not facing it and not healing it. Imagine how much energy, how much creation, how much joy and bliss is available to you if you're willing to do just the small amounts of work that it will take to look at it, face it, heal it. Work with somebody at a somatic level to get those traumas out of your body, out of your limbic brain, so that you can be fully free and fully fly, because you were meant to fly, baby. You were meant to fly. I think that's enough. I love you guys so, so much. I am here for you. I do free 30-minute sessions to identify the root cause of either your trauma or money blocks. They're usually one and the same. So I would love to be able to assist you in just getting you started down the right path so you can start to know what to look out for in your life. I love you guys so, so much. I will see you on the next video, and check for links below if you want to stay in touch. All right, take care. Namaste.